So this video is going to be my Week 3 NFL 2012 wrap-up and review, where I go through all the games that happened in that particular week, in this case Week 3, give the recap, review, and the big picture of what it means for these teams going forward, all that kind of good stuff. We'll start off on Thursday, the Thursday night game with Steelers at Browns. I picked the Browns to win this one. They won 29-17. Not going to lie, did not watch this game. I was actually at Universal Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, and I don't regret it because this is not a game I had that much interest in, and even though it's an NFC North matchup. The Browns, they're expected to win. They're the better team, even with their quarterback that they have right now defensively, some of the talent they have on offense and defense, all that kind of stuff. Big picture means more for the Steelers as their season starts to slowly go away or slip away. Slowly going to become Kenny Pickett time, if it's not already, just because Mitch Trubisky, even though he didn't play terrible in this game, the time is certainly coming up to where people are going to be calling for him to step forward. And once the season is over in terms of making the playoffs, they'll likely make the switch to them. Because if you look, they got some brutal defenses coming up. So I don't know if you want to subject a rookie to all that. So that's it for that game. Next up, we move to Bills and the Dolphins, first game of the Sunday slate. Now, the Bills were certainly up against it with all the injuries they've suffered. I mean, they suffered a really bad one, losing Hyde for the entire season now, their safety. And the Dolphins, they're able to win this one, 21-19, continuing the great momentum they've had for the start of the season, and Tua and the offense and all that kind of good stuff. I do think that the Bills have shown that they're not that great in close games as it's been for them the past couple of years now. And the Dolphins, hey, it's just more good momentum for them. There certainly wasn't the sort of high-flying act comeback that they did last week. Anytime you can win sort of a divisional matchup, especially a team that's as good as Buffalo, who I still think is the favorite. Great win for the Dolphins. For the Bills, they just got to get healthy. I don't think it means that much for them going forward, besides the fact that they are a little too reliant on Josh Allen, who threw 63 times in this game. I mean, holy shit, that's just way too much. They got to be able to find some better balance in some way. Next, we move over to the next game, Bengals at Jets. The Bengals won this one 27-12. This was an easy game to predict. And, the Bengals, no way you're going to go 0-3, and that third loss is going to come against the Jets, even though it was in the New York. It was a get-right game for the Bengals, trying to get that first win. They'll be fine. I wasn't worried for them with that 0-2 start. As for the Jets, I mean, their season really doesn't start until Zach Wilson comes back. And when he comes back, it's not really a matter of getting a ton of wins, just a matter of, looking competent or showing improvement, which hopefully they do. I like to see all young quarterbacks do well, so we'll see how they do. Next up, we have the Raiders at the Titans. I did pick the Raiders to win this one. I thought they were the better team, but the Titans ended up winning this one 24-22. It was a matchup between two 0-2 teams, so it was a big significance in terms of who won this one to avoid going 0-3. The Titans, I don't know. Titans just don't look spectacular, but I guess anytime you're up against it 0-2, you're going to put out that effort to really dig down, but they really had to hold on for dear life in this game. As for the Raiders, they made a solid comeback, actually a really good comeback to come within a 2-point conversion of actually tying the game and getting into overtime, but they ended up losing this one, and now they're 0-3. It's not a surprise that they're last place in the division. I did pick them to be last place, but the 0-3 is sort of a big disappointment that they're not competitively in the hunt, even though we're obviously just 3 games in. I don't think the season is over, but to come back from being 0-3 and making the playoffs, very rough. So it looks like it's going to be kind of a disappointing year for that organization, even though, like I said, the AFC West is tough. No one wants to be starting off 0-3, where your season is basically over before it even starts or barely starts. Next up, we have Saints at the Panthers. The Panthers won this one 22-14. I picked the Saints to win this one, so I ended up being wrong on this one. The Saints, I think this goes to show the importance of an offensive coach and whatnot, because Jameis Winston under Sean Payton looked pretty solid last year before he got injured, but now under the defensive coach who's not able to use him in the right way, he has not looked good all season. And the Saints, who everyone thought would be so solid bet to be a wildcard team, not looking so great. As for the Panthers, I mean, they were in the first 2 games that they lost, so it's not surprising that they would win this one, a divisional opponent and whatnot, even though I definitely don't think that Baker played great. As a team effort, you get that win. That's all you can ask for. Ravens at the Patriots. Ravens won this one 31-26. I predicted the Ravens would win this one, so not surprising that they won. Lamar's been putting up great numbers offensively towards him and sort of Jalen Hurts as your top 2 candidates for MVP, I guess, along with Josh Allen also. As for the Patriots, and actually does a decent job scoring in this game, which they've had a tough time doing this season. But losing Mac Jones now, he's got a high ankle sprain, so that usually takes probably at least 2 weeks to come back for. And there's even talk about him getting a second opinion to see if surgery is necessary. Yeah, it's not looking good for the Patriots. They are not going to be a good team this year, which I didn't predict them to make the playoffs anyway this year. But it looks like they're going to be in for a rough go if they don't have Mac Jones, which will make it a lost season because you don't even have him developing, even though I don't think he's going to be out the entire season. He's going to be missing some time. And yeah, not looking good for the Patriots, to put it this way. Chiefs at Colts. This was a real surprising one for me. The Colts won this one 21-17. You would think the Chiefs, who had been played really well the first couple games, and how bad the Colts had looked, you'd be like, oh man. But I guess it's another thing where your back's against the wall when you're 0-2. Come back, get that victory, and that's how the Colts did. Now, it's not like the Chiefs did not have a chance to win this game. They didn't, and Mahomes ends up making the interception at the end. Yeah, I don't know. The Chiefs, it's just a matter of being up against an 0-2 team, on the road, as in playing in their stadium. So yeah, the Colts dug down, got this win. They definitely needed it because their season definitely would have been over at 0-3, considering how another team in their division has looked. Next up, we have Texans at Bears. Not gonna lie, did not watch, but I will say that for as bad as the Bears have been offensively, meaning that I think Justin Fields has maybe 20 or something completions in the 3 games. They're 2-1, and hey, that's all you can ask for is to win games. But didn't watch this game. I'll put it that way. Jaguars are at Chargers. Now, this was an interesting game to predict, which I did pick the Jaguars would win this one just because dealing with Justin Herbert and his injury, was his rib injury, which he's going to be dealing with for at least a few more weeks. I did pick the Jags to win this game, but I did not think they would win 38-10. My goodness, they are definitely the most improved team in the league so far. So far, they're 3-0, topped in their division. I think I'm now looking at it, have a real shot, are obviously the favorites now to win that division. As for the Chargers, oh man, not a good pick looking for me in terms of them being sort of a real top contender in the AFC. I didn't pick them to win their division. They just got to find a way to get right. They got a lot of injuries. Herbert's got to find a way to get right. Yeah, otherwise their season, they're looking at a big disappointment if they go on too much of a tailspin, and that coach will be in real trouble if they don't start to turn it around. Just because to get beat 38-10, even to the Jaguars who are playing well, yeah, not ideal. Rams at Cardinals. Rams on the road, winning this one in Arizona, 20-12. Yeah, I think this game did say some stuff about both teams. The Cardinals, they just are not looking right. I mean, it's miraculous they won that game against the Raiders. Otherwise, staring at them at 0-3, you were looking at Kingsbury as like a first coach fired, even with that extension that he got. As for the Rams, they just have not looked great all season. Obviously they got blown out in the first game against the Bills. Then last week against the Falcons didn't look great. I mean, they had to hold on for dear life against the Falcons. And now you have this game against the Cardinals. Well, yeah, they win, but is anyone really all that impressed with their performance in this game? No, but you couldn't say it's just the early season doldrums and they just got to take that time to get right. I don't know if it's much about a Super Bowl hangover, but I mean, some of the stuff they're getting from their offensive line, not great. The stuff they're getting from Allen Robinson, who they thought would be a great addition, not great either. So this team definitely needs to get right, but you can say that, as long as you can win games and you're still trying to figure some things out, not a terrible way to go. Next up, we have Packers at Buccaneers. Obviously, whenever you have a matchup between Brady and Rodgers, it's billed as the game of the year in terms of offense and fireworks and all that kind of stuff. Well, this game was anything but that, and anyone could predict that with the Packers with their current wide receiver situation and the Buccaneers dealing with either injuries or suspensions with Mike Evans. Yeah, you could tell this was not going to be a pretty game. It's going to be a defensive struggle because these are two actually really good defensive teams, with the Buccaneers having actually the best defense in the league. I do think, the Packers end up winning this one 14-12. It was a matter of them holding on for dear life, though. They were up 14-3 at the half, and then obviously they don't score again, and it comes down to Brady 2-point conversion of getting them, sending the game into overtime. So I guess it ended up being a good game in that right. It's just not the type of game people would expect when you have Brady and Rodgers, who are the two best QBs statistically last year. I do think this game says a bit more about the Packers, though. The fact that you have to hold on for dear life against the Buccaneers when they're not having their 3 best offensive weapons with Evans, Godwin, or Julio Jones. Not a great look for them. Obviously, I think if the Buccaneers were healthy, they would have smoked the Packers, no way. So the Packers got to find a way to sort of, improve offensively, be able to win games more than one game against more than one ways against these elite teams where they can actually put up some points, because that shit will not fly when you get to the playoffs. I'll put it that way. Falcons at Seahawks. Falcons won this one in Seattle. I guess I picked Seattle to win this one. The Falcons won 27-23. Not gonna lie, did not watch, but you know what? The Falcons have looked a lot better than I thought they would this season. When you look at their statistics and how they are, their record, as long as you can win, that's all you can ask for. The Sunday night game, 49ers at Broncos, actually a pretty solid matchup. The first game with Jimmy G sort of back in the saddle for the 49ers ended up being a really ugly game. I mean, the Broncos, I guess that's not really surprising for them now, as they've been just horrendous offensively these first three games. And they were down for most of this game, but Wilson was able to pull off a late comeback final drive to get them to the win, 11-10. I'll cut the 49ers some slack here just because, with Jimmy G, he's just, they did not give him a playbook and basically had him away from the team while Lance was still in the lineup in QB1. So they'll take a while to get back offensively, although they'll need to soon when they got the Rams coming up this week. As for the Broncos, I don't feel foolish because I did not pick this team to be sort of win their division. I just thought, I'll take the Chargers, I'll take the Chiefs. Well, I didn't think they'd look this bad. Oh my goodness! But for as bad as they look, they're still 2-1. So if they can sort of figure things out, which they need to, because what they're doing right now is not the type of expectations people had for them going forward. With their main issue, I guess likely being coaching, and if you can say Wilson's on the decline, we'll truly know that by the end of the season. But yeah, not an impressive outing for either teams. Cowboys at the Giants, the Monday night game. This is the game, sort of a pretty pivotal game for each team. Giants could have improved to 3-0. Cowboys just got to try to win games while Dak is out. Wasn't looking good for the Cowboys for the middle portion of this game when the Giants took the lead, but the Cowboys were able to win 23-16. Cooper Rush has been super impressive. The type of poise that he's played with, cool, collective, being able to lead these comebacks, these important drives. It's great stuff, making me wonder, what the hell are they paying Prescott all that money for? With Cooper Rush, he's running the offense very, very efficiently, making use of all the weapons. CeeDee Lamb, he had a really nice, solid game after he had a disastrous drop in this game. The Giants, it's too early to I'm not really sure what to make of them just yet. But as for the Cowboys, they're showing, everyone sort of wrote them off when Prescott got injured, including me. But Cooper Rush, man, he's really sort of saving their season right now. You look at the games that they have coming up. They got games against the Commanders, divisional game against the Eagles. Anything can happen there, even with the Eagles looking as good as they have. There could be the potential for them to be going like a nice run and actually sort of heighten that sort of QB controversy that Jerry Jones has teased. So there you go with the Week 3 slate. Not exactly the fireworks display that we saw the week before with all of those amazing comebacks. That was an unbelievable week of football when it came to those comebacks in that Sunday window. That was amazing. As for Week 3, decent stuff, I guess, but whatever. Nothing to sort of write home about. There's really only one team. I don't think any team needs to be all that super concerned right now going forward, except for the Chargers, who, like I said, 0-3. Their season is looking like it's over before it even starts. As for this Week 4 slate, I guess the games to really look forward to are going to be Chiefs at Buccaneers, mainly to see if that game even happens in Tampa. You got Mahomes versus Brady, but will it even be in Tampa with the whole hurricane going on? There's a good Monday night game with Rams 49ers. So there's some decent stuff. So hopefully we get another fun slate of games like we did the previous week, and I guess this week was all right also. So that'll do it for this Week 3 wrap-up. Made it to the end of this video. Thank you for watching.